earlier this week, I used my Twitter account at VikingSizeGamer to ask you guys what you would like to see in the new version of the game, WWE 2K20. Of course, we received a mixed bag, as you're going to when you're getting a game like this, but there was a general consensus on some things. So what I've done is I've picked some tweets out at random, we're going to go through them, and we're going to see what the general consensus is. More than likely, we're going to see the same thing over and over again, and I'm pretty sure that you'll probably be able to guess what it is, so maybe pause the video, go make a comment down below, tell me what you think it is, and then check back after the video and see if you were actually right. Probably if you've been playing these games, you may have the same sort of ideas as a lot of these people, so let's go through them. John tweeted out on here that he had a WWE 2K20 wish list, and his list consists of this: the championship matches in online mode, so you can private and team up and you can have actual matches online. I mean, that kind of makes sense if you want to, but realistically, what would it matter? It doesn't really seem to make any difference even if you did do that, so kind of throw that out there. Longer and better career mode, maybe one for male and one for female. Of course, people would love to see a female My Career mode. At this point, people are kind of crying out for it, mainly because the women's division went through the women's revolution and we had lots of changes and so much has happened since then. It kind of cries out for it. Whether there's a market or not, everybody seems to be crying out for this at the moment. I don't know if it would be massively played if you did have it. I don't know. I'm not a female, as you can guess, so I wouldn't be able to say that personally. I'd probably give it a go and see what it's like. But would it be my go-to? I don't know. I play a lot of other stuff as well. Make sure all current and active inactive roster members are in the game. That's kind of not down to 2K, that's down to WWE, and let's face it, that's not been going their way recently, so they want to make people available, they can, but people can say no. That's the issue that we're going to have, and we're going to come across again and again. Ciampa said no, Cross said no, Hendrick said no. They didn't want to be in it because they weren't getting paid as much as the main roster guys were, so I don't know if 205 Live actually counts as main roster though. Maybe it counts on the same level as NXT. I'll have to think about that one. Story designer / creator mode. Obviously, everybody wants a story designer back, don't they? I'm pretty sure that's a general consensus. Revamped universe mode. Universe mode has already gone quite a few changes considering last year. Now, a lot of people may say it's pretty much exactly the same as last year. If you watch my universe video from WWE 2K19, where me and Town Nation actually went down to the playthrough, he went through it pretty ridiculously. I mean, we went through everything, every nitpick, every little bit in there, and there was actually quite a lot of significant changes, so having a complete revamp is probably not going to happen. Maybe some changes here and there. You can see that happening. Better DLC. The DLC is okay right now, maybe the system doesn't work as well as people may want. Locker codes weren't really utilised except for once. I don't know if they're going to be utilised again. Maybe it was just sort of like a test run for 2K20, and they're probably going to bring in things like microtransactions and things like that, so we'll see. Other special exhibition modes, special referee, buried alive match. Other special exhibition modes, special referee, buried alive, inferno, I quit, etc. Of course, everybody's going to be wanting these sorts of things back, I think, but we'll go through the rest of them and see what happens. The next one comes from @JennyPlays, who asks for a buried alive match, casket match, I quit, and GM mode, or update universe mode to be more like GM mode. Now, of course, buried alive match, casket match, I quit match, these three matches were in last gen and had been for years until we went up to the PS4 current gen, and they were stripped out and stripped back. And the reason for this mainly, I think, is an engine thing, so maybe we'll see something different this year. I mean, I'm not saying it out loud, but of course it's definitely worth checking out. You may be surprised what they put in this year. I may be surprised what they put in this year, but I would look to see these matches in. I would be kind of sad if they didn't, if I'm thinking about it. GM mode. Now, GM mode is something that's massively a thing at the moment, and of course Fire Pro Wrestling has decided they put it in, it looks great, Apparently it plays great. I haven't had a chance to have a go at all because I don't own Fire Pro Wrestling World. Insert sad face emoji. I'm not really that bothered about it, to be fair. I'm going to be honest with you, because I remember GM mode. I remember GM mode back in the older WWE versus, SmackDown versus Raw games. Those games, they were fantastic, but the GM mode was just like a mishmash of things. And did it work? Did you ever win? Was it ridiculously hard? Yeah, it's not a full booking simulator because people have different interpretations of what GM mode could be. I would like to see some sort of interpretation where maybe you do act more as a booker, maybe as a Vince McMahon kind of thing. And if you're going to do a GM mode, realistically, we've got to talk about this because that could be a whole separate video altogether. At Package 79 has come in and said, falls count anywhere, everywhere. Example being on top of the Hell in a Cell. Now, that's one of the things that I suppose will annoy a lot of people. If falls count anywhere means you can have it anywhere. I don't know if they did do it on the top of the cell. I got to even try that, but I'm guessing from this tweet that falls count anywhere means that on the top of the cell doesn't actually count, even though it would count because it's on the top of a flat surface. I mean, if you go back in the annals of WWE history, we've had people pinned against walls, which is weird. It's not a floor, technically. But that is something that really does need to be addressed. If you're going to be doing a falls count anywhere match, of course, you are going to be wanting to see people actually being pinned anywhere. Maybe not walls. Walls is maybe a little bit too far. Scott Lee Clayton has said 5-on-5 matches and war games. Now, 5-on-5 matches is a limitation of the engine at the moment. Right now, you can only have 4-on-4. And having that many people in the ring with this engine is just... They have massively improved upon the frame rate when it comes to 4-on-4 matches at the moment. And honestly, it is purely steps beyond what it was in 2K18. So 2K19's done well with that. Can they up the game? Can they optimize it? Will they bring in a new engine? Maybe possible. Then we could see things like 5-on-5 matches and war games, because war games would be pretty damn cool to play in an actual game perspective, but it's how they would do it. I mean, the war games that we've seen recently have been absolutely fantastic, and I don't know, man, it's going to be quite hard to see them not putting it in, but at the same time, they're going to have to seriously optimize this game to get that amount of people in a match, let alone having 2 rings in there as well. This is something that they're really going to have to look and work towards. At CRoss22 says, war games, buried alive match, more options and parts in create an arena, updated trons throughout the year, NXT roster championships and arenas, and story designer, legit Royal Rumble 19 arena with the curved ramp, and women's My Career. Now, you start to see a pattern here a little bit, right? War games, buried alive match, more options in parts of create arena. That's the first time I've heard of that. NXT UK roster, that's a new one as well. I mean, if we're going to be realistic about it, the NXT UK guys being in would be fantastic, but once again, that's down to the back office offering this to people, and if people say yes, then they can be in, and then they'll decide if they actually want them in it or not. They're basically saying, hey, do you want to be in a game? And they're going, yeah. And they're going, okay, we'll let you know. That's awful. I mean, Trent Seven was scanned for 2 years in a row, and he didn't make it in. He wanted to be in. Why one half of Mustache Mountain and not the other? Don't understand. It's stupid. It's like scanning Jimmy Uso and only putting in Jimmy Uso, even though you've got both of Jimmy and Why? Why? Can't say anything, can I? Because they only put Lorcan in. They didn't do Danny Burch either. What is going on? Anyway, updated trons throughout the year. I would love to say yes, but the fact that this is a yearly release, it's not going to happen. I'd like to see it happen. What I'd like to see as an alternative is maybe the ability to create your own or upload your own if you're good with maybe a video editor or something, but that's something that's not likely to happen. Not anytime soon. which is a damn shame. So the only thing realistically that you can ask for is to see if they can do a much better update of the video editor, video manager, whatever you want to call it, and just see how it goes from there. Legit Royal Rumble 19 arena with curved ramp. I'd love to see that. I would actually love to see that. Whether or not that's going to be in, I mean, likelihood, it probably will be. Likelihood, it probably will be. They like to keep things as realistic as possible with this, so we'll see. Women's My Career. See, maybe a little bit of a pattern emerging here. At MMIN Justice 2. GM mode, obviously. Pattern here, maybe. Special guest referees. Asked for before. So yes, it seems like that is something you guys want. Legitimate gauntlet matches. Gauntlet matches is a new one, but an interesting concept. I would like to see maybe a gauntlet match in there. That would be pretty cool. Maybe Beat the Clock as well. Beat the Clock. We'll only throw that one in too. War Games. Yep, War Games is back. Leave Rumble under the rope. Really, you wanna play that game? I don't know if that's a good idea. Being able to leave under the rope. I mean, that's just. Why don't we just leave and just act like we're injured and then just head to the back for like, you know, the next half an hour and come back at like 27 or 28 and just win the whole thing. Gameplay perspective, great storyline perspective, great. Realistically, it's probably not the best idea. Create a finisher. Wow. First time that's been mentioned, but that was brilliant back in the day. It's just very hard to piece all those things together, but they've done it before. There's no reason why they can't again. Create a story. Yeah, we've heard that one before. Fully against it. I'm not fully against it. Fully with this one. It is absolutely fantastic idea. And a lot of people who do universe modes, GM mode, that sort of thing, where they want to put their own stories together, create a story would actually help that massively. So, here's hoping. 9 out of 10 man match types. Maybe 9 to 10 match types? Possibly? I may be reading this wrong. In any case, they're looking for an elevated amount of people on the screen at once. So, possibility, maybe, once again, engine update, most likely. Not going to be done with this engine. This engine is so old, it needs updating, realistically, for this sort of thing to happen. More weapons. Everybody wants more weapons. Why the hell not? Do you remember back in the old SmackDown vs. Raw games where people in the crowd would actually hand you weapons? They'd be like, hey, take my cane. I'll beat him to death with it. Take my crutch. I don't need it. I got a seat. Take my crutch. You just take these things off these people who just randomly have them. Chairs and crutches, ladders, random cups of whatever they have, who even knows anymore, and just beat them to death with them in the game. Great, absolutely loved it, fantastic. Would love to see that mechanic again. Interesting thought. Maybe, we'll see. Tag teams import to universe/GM mode. So I can see this because a lot of people do spend time creating their tag teams outside of universe mode and they're not interchangeable. It's like if it's in the universe mode, it simply exists in that universe mode. There's no going, I'm going to create them in my WWE. Then I'm going to go to universe mode and why aren't they there? This makes no sense. So this is something that really does need to be addressed by 2K. I mean, just importing certain things in and out, you know, that you can do. Even something as stupid as, you know, your My Career character. Your My Career character doesn't get imported, or exported, should I say, from My Career to the normal game. He's not a created, like, it's his created character. This one sits separate on your game from anything else. So if you want to take your created character from here and put him in universe mode, you can't do that. What? That's just stupid. Why would you? Why? It doesn't even make any sense. Realistically, what you want. Oh, wait, I forgot the worst part. Remember that bit in My Career where you create your own championship and you're like, yes, look at this championship. Isn't this fantastic? I've made up a championship and now this is mine and I defend it. You remember that? That's in your own game. That's imported, or should I say exported, from My Career to your normal game. What? Why? Forget it. We're moving on. At ratedR_70 said buried alive match, casket match, inferno match, Punjabi prison match. No. No. More legends, Hogan for example, and create a story, please. So, more legends seems probable, but it really depends on who they can get and who's on their Legends contracts. Hogan seems a lot more probable for 2K20 now that he is back in the warm, loving embrace of Vince McMahon. So maybe we'll see what happens there, but Legends are always going to be on here. There's some people that really we're going to have to go through and have a little bit of a discussion about for 2K20 because we're realistic. You may see a few less faces that really wouldn't want to be without. So core creators, gonna have to get ready for this. And Adam Creekmore 1 says, I want them to put the Superstar Shakeup and the Buried Alive match and the Casket match. Superstar Shakeup seems like a legitimate thing. I mean, really, why do we not have this already? We should just be chucking this in. We can do it whenever I mean, okay, we could do it manually. We could do it manually, but there should be some sort of mechanic in here where we can just say, hey, we're gonna do a Superstar Shakeup and just hit maybe a random button or just select certain people and make it easier to switch them. Because sometimes you just don't want to go through each menu and just shift people. It's just irritating. It's just irritating. There should be a system where we can go Superstar Shakeup. Here's the people I'm gonna put up from this menu. Here's the people I'm gonna put up from this menu. This is SmackDown, this is Raw, this is NXT. Swap them around randomly. Just swap them all around randomly. You could just do it. And I think that would make more sense, realistically, if we're going to be honest. And of course, Buried Alive match and Casket match make another return in here. So I'm really seeing a massive pattern. People want Casket matches, I Quit matches, Buried Alive matches. They want these things back in the game. I can understand why. Adam Creekmore 1 also says Goldberg Showcase Mode, Brock Lesnar Showcase Mode, Kurt Angle Showcase Mode, Batista Showcase Mode, The Shield Showcase Mode, Finn Balor Showcase Mode, and Randy Orton Showcase Mode, and Road to WrestleMania, and a female Showcase Mode. That's a lot of work. I've got to be fair. That's a lot of work. I don't fancy that amount of work. If I was them, I'd maybe pick one, two. And at Phenomenal Omega says Backstage brawls for all match types like tag, 4 and 5-way, triple threat, 8 and 10-man matches. Wow. Backstage brawls for all that sort of thing. That's a lot of carnage around. Realistically, that would be insane and amazing, and why not? Why, let's just do it. Let's do it. Just do it. I think that'd be amazing. Let's just freaking do it, alright? I'm gonna call the devs now. I'm gonna get them on the phone, and I'm gonna tell them, wait. Hi, Mark Little? Yeah, you need to implement Backstage brawls for all the match types, like tags, 4 and 5 ways, triple threats, 8 and 10-man matches. Yeah, Phenomenal Omega said that. What do you mean, no? Expanded crowd fighting, where we can fight in the stands and merch areas. I like this. So, personally, I think fighting in expanded areas, I actually thought last year there may have been an update where you can fight not on the crowd side, but on the hard camera side, because we seem to get a lot more people that come down towards the camera out of that back corner and then go around the side here where the hard cameras are. I'd like to see that. I would also like to see, if you do fight down that area, that you see a cameraman and they trail after you so you get the back end of whatever's going on. I don't know, I think that would be a cool idea. WWE versus WCW versus ECW Showcase. Once again, a lot of work, but I would like to see this as well. So, I personally, as a WCW fan growing up, and WWE, I didn't get to see a lot of ECW. I wouldn't mind reliving some key moments from the three of them and seeing how they all basically got taken over by WWE. I don't know, I think it'd be a great story, but we'd have to see. It's a lot of work. There's a lot of history there to cover, especially with the Monday Night Wars and everything. Special guest referee for all match types. Yeah, that does make sense. I mean, maybe not everything. I mean, I wouldn't want to see a special guest referee for Money in the Bank or anything, you know, just a special guest referee for a tag team. That'd be kind of cool. Obviously, 1v1, I quit match, things like that. We could do that. We could do that sort of thing. That's doable, right? I think so. I think it'd be pretty cool. Intergender matches. Don't get me wrong, this is a massive thing that's been going on in the indie scene recently, and obviously with the mixed match challenge that was happening as well on Facebook, there's been some good things that have been happening, and obviously with managers getting involved, the valets, of course, you know, Zelina Vega, she likes doing Hurricane Ranas on other people, so, and it doesn't matter whether they're male or female, she just likes whipping those legs around their head and flipping them over into whatever thing they're gonna flip over into. It's just what she does. So intergender matches, I can see why people would want them, but even Charlotte Flair has turned around and said that she isn't really bothered about intergender matches because she doesn't think it would do anything for the division. Some people would agree to disagree. It really does depend on your perspective for it, because it's just kind of saying, hey, the women can hang with the men. And it's been doing pretty well in Lucha Underground. So Lucha Underground's, the independent scene's just, it really is a place where this sort of thing thrives. So the option for it, possibly, whether it'll actually be done, probably not. There's been no intergender wrestling in WWE for ever, so wouldn't see it. Shame, really. GM mode. I feel like there's a pattern formed here that we're definitely seeing, and if I'm honest, this is the last tweet that we went through, and it seemed to say the same thing as everybody else, and that was GM mode, casket matches, buried alive matches, I quit matches. You guys, you want to see matches back, as well as war games for updates and more people on the screen, up to 10 on the screen. And these sorts of updates, from what we're going with, kind of screaming with GM mode as well. Engine update. Please, for the love of God, engine update. Lighting's already been done. The lighting and the graphics look really nice. They look peachy right now. But if we're honest, the engine is dated, and the way that it does things are kind of like, ugh. But it's been 5 years this year since 2K took over the license for WWE, and they've been working tirelessly in the background, you know, trying to get things up and running with this engine and pushing it to its extremes. But I think we all know at this point that it's getting to the end of this engine. Do we need a new one to get things up and running again? You guys let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more WWE 2K20 videos and for more VikingSizeGamer content. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at VikingSizeGamer. And join me in the Discord as well. We've got a Discord channel now where we're going to be chatting more 2K20 news and rumours when it does start coming out, because it's going to be coming out. We're going to be getting some things done. Catch you later.